When you see the whole world shaking and you feel your heart is breaking, take my hand, no hesitating. When you're just so tired of trying, all alone you feel like hiding. Together we'll keep fighting. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel it, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Can you see the sun is shining like a new hope? Feel it rising, coming over the horizon. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't stop now. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna mountains too high we can climb it. Feel it, we're taking the moment. There's no stopping us. Hold on, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. Don't you give up, don't you give up on me. Don't you give up, don't you give up now. There's no stopping.
Good evening. It is Saturday, February 22nd, 2025. I'm actually recording this earlier. It's pre-recorded because I have some things to do this evening. But I wanted to get back to my Saturday programming. The last couple ones I did on Mondays, and I just want to get back to Saturday. And I'm Chris Gargiulo. This is my weekly video podcast, Real Estate with Mr. G. I have a blog, realestatewithmrg.blog, where I have up to 5 articles per week, as long as about 3 videos or more per week, bringing you updates on the real estate industry, the mortgage industry, the economy, and so forth. But mostly about the real estate industry. And I'm also a licensed referral specialist with Realty Connect LLC, where I can find you a home or list a home. I could help you find or list a home, or both, anywhere within the United States of America. And I will not be the person actually showing you the properties or listing the properties, but through my service, if you go to right over here, buy or list anywhere, real estate with Mr. G.us, you could then put in information, and then you will be introduced to about 3 top agents in that locale. They'll send you information about themselves, and you choose the one that you feel most suitable with. And again, these are top producing agents in the area that they've made a full-time commitment to the real estate industry. So I could still consult you, and I could give you information, but the actual showing and listing of the properties will be done by the agents within the Realty Connect network. Okay. There's no additional fee for the service. My fee comes out of the closing. They're not adding on any points. I just get my referral fee and that's it. So don't think, I'm talking to this guy, Chris Gargiulo, and I have to pay more money. No, that's not happening. Okay? So let me show you a little film on that I put together, or video that hopefully will explain it a little bit better or summarize what I just said. Okay, so I hope that summarizes it for you. I think I know it's a great service. And you speak to people, they always have a friend who's a friend in the business. But sometimes you don't want friends to know all your personal situations. And sometimes, buying a home, getting approved, and whatever your situation is, you really want someone who's objective and not subjective, or might spread, well, who might not keep everything to themselves, even though real estate agents are supposed to keep everything confidential. I think this is a good service, and I hope you try it out. So let's go to our topic guest host, who will give us our topic discussion for today's video podcast.
Day, Mr. G. I am getting ready to put my house on the market. Do you think I should offer any seller concessions to make sure the sale goes quickly and smoothly? Any advice from your expansive real estate background would be most appreciated. I watch your weekly video podcast with my wife, children, and grandchildren religiously and enjoy them for their informative and fun presentations. Please keep it going strong in 2025. May God bless you.
Well, thank you very much, Gary. That's very nice of you to say that. And yes, the market has been changing since the height of the pandemic. Houses are staying longer on the market, and that could be for a couple of reasons, because home prices are very, very high. And mortgage rates, even though they came down a little bit this week, they're still, a touch below 7. It's not moving as fast as when the mortgage rates, at least, when the mortgage rates were low, even though the prices were high, you could get a low mortgage monthly payment, but not right now. So houses are staying longer on the market, and it's moving from a seller's market. Maybe it's not such a buyer's market. If you switch that pendulum or swing it, it's heading to that direction. That is a buyer's market, but it's definitely not where where the seller said it's my way or the highway, or goodbye. So we're going to discuss that today. I'm just going to show you a little graphic from the National Association of Realtors and put it up here before we start. As home inventories begin to grow and buyers regain some advantage to the market, sellers may consider offering more in negotiations to make the deal more attractive and get to the closing table. All right. So right now, sellers are beginning to offer more concessions. And you may say, Mr. G, I don't know, what is a seller's concession? Can you tell me what that's all about? Okay. So seller concessions, a smart strategy to get your house sold. So in the past few years, it's been more of a mostly a seller's market, as we just discussed. But dynamics are shifting as the number of homes for sales grow. And that means that the market is balancing out a bit. As a result, some sellers are finding they need to be more flexible to close a deal. One strategy can't help, offering concessions. So this is what I just read from that quote. As home inventory begins to grow and buyers regain some advantage in the market, sellers may consider offering more in negotiations to make the deal more attractive and get to the closing table. Well, I just read that. So what are seller concessions? Concessions are home buyers' costs that a seller agrees to cover as a way to get their house sold. And based on data from the National Association of Realtors, nearly 1 out of every 4 sellers offered a concession in 2024. Here are some of the most common type of concessions. Covering closing costs. Now, basically, if you have a good buyer's agent, they should ask for closing costs, depending on the size of the mortgage. It's standard to ask for about 3%. If it's a lower priced home, you might have to do 4%. But if it's like 300,000 above, 3% should be enough to cover the buyer's closing costs. Now, during the crazy pandemic, a lot of, where, like I said, the seller had the upper hand. They weren't offering closing costs. And you could even ask for closing costs, even if in the contract or on the listing it says that the seller's not providing any seller costs. Well, you could still ask for it. Okay. Price adjustments. Instead of making repairs, a seller might lower the purchase price to make up for updates the buyer will need to tackle. All right. So if they're saying, can you replace the carpet? This is from the buyers. And the seller says, instead of replacing the carpet, how about if I just, the cost might be $1,000. I'll knock off $1,000 on the price. The other thing is adding a home warranty. A seller may throw in a home warranty, giving the buyer peace of mind. Key repairs will be covered in the first year. So let's say the HVAC system is towards the end of its life expectancy, and the buyer's concerned about this. They say, well, I'm going to offer you a home warranty for the first year. If you want to continue it, that's up to you. But if anything goes wrong with the heating system or the cooling system, you have a home warranty. So that's very helpful. And you may even offer it even if there isn't any concerns about the condition of the house. It's just a way of giving more comfort or raising the comfort level of the buyer. And the article continues, and don't worry, these doesn't mean you have to come up with more cash to make it happen. These are things that can be subtracted from your profits at closing. Not more funds you have to bring to the table. And not all concessions about money. There are extras you could throw in, like if the buyer is coming from an apartment and has never had a yard before, they may ask if you're willing to leave your lawnmower behind. That's another way you can make them happy. All right. So it doesn't always have to be about money. And I have had that. I had where, and my buy necessarily didn't come from an apartment, but their lawn wasn't as big, and they asked if they could leave. It was a riding lawnmower, so they asked if they could leave that. So offering concessions can be a smart strategy for sellers to get a deal done. As Dennis Shishakov, professor of finance and economics at the City University of New York, Queens College, told the Mortgage Reports, pricing homes realistically and being willing to offer concessions such as covering portion of closing costs or including upgrades will be the key to closing deals in a less frenzied market. So, for example, let's say you accept an offer from a buyer, but after their inspection, you find out there are some repairs they want you to tackle before you hand over the keys. Okay, rather than starting from square one and searching for a new buyer, you could offer a concession. One concession is that you take on the repairs and cover the cost yourself. But if you really don't want to but if you really don't want the hassle of dealing with contractors, you can reduce the price by however much repairs would cost. Alternatively, you could offer to pay a portion of your buyer's closing costs, expenses, with the idea that they use the money they saved at closing towards doing the repairs themselves. So either way, it's a great way where you could meet in the middle. However, it's important to have an agent on your side to help with these negotiations. And of course, a good real estate agent can help you decide when and how to offer concessions, so you don't have to give away too much while still ensuring your house gets sold. It's all about finding the right balance. Now, depending on what type of mortgage you're going for, if it's FHA or Fannie Mae, if the appraiser goes in there and it says, well, the heat doesn't work, or there's a couple of broken window panes, or your steps going up to the porch needs a railing, these have to be done by the seller to close the sale. It can't be the responsibility of the buyer. All right. But anything else besides what's found in the appraiser report or the appraisal report, like I said, if you want the carpets to be cleaned, you want one room to be painted, that doesn't affect the safety of the home for the new buyer. This is where you can negotiate, and whether the seller will do it for you or they'll give you money towards it, help pay for the closing costs, or lower the price. There are different ways to go about it. Okay. All right, so let's close this down. And let's make the one. Oh, that's a pretty scenery over there. Okay. All right, so let me show you a fast little video that will, again, summarize what, actually, this is on making upgrades to your house. It kind of goes hand in hand with our discussion today with concessions, because it talks about before I put my house on the market, do I need to make any upgrades? All right. And it could be as well, a request that the buyer makes. But here are some items you might want to do prior to putting your home on the market. I once asked an appraiser, if someone wants to make an upgrade, how do you add it to the cost of the house or increasing the price? And he has a rule of thumb, like if an upgraded kitchen was $10,000, add another $5,000 to the price. A lot of times you're not going to recoup the full amount of the upgrade, but it might just help to sell your home a lot quicker. Okay. And then, through different time periods, different upgrades shift. Sometimes it's better to upgrade the kitchen and or the bathroom, and sometimes it could be if someone wanted to put with that example that I gave before, to put a garage on, what would it increase in the value? And in that example, the appraiser gave, half the amount of installing or putting in a new garage. Okay. A lot of times people think if I put an in-ground pool in, would that increase? And then it depends on the neighborhood. It's very subjective. If there are a lot of homes in the area that you're have your house, if you put in an in-ground pool, it may increase. But if it goes into a neighborhood where there aren't that many in-ground pools, it may not. All right, and also because there are some liabilities with in-ground pools, and depending on your locale, it has to be fenced in or whatever, because it may increase your liability. You may have to have an increase in your home insurance. So you have to really speak to your local agent on that, and they will advise you on what's the best upgrades you should make. Okay? All right, so remember on my blog site, I have let me make sure I have it up here. Guide to buying your first home. This is the, should be, is this the winter one? I think it's the winter one. Let me see. Well, it comes out quarterly. That doesn't look good. Does that look like a winter? Here you go. Things to consider when buying a home. Winter 2025 edition. These guides come out quarterly. So actually soon, probably by next month, we'll have the spring guide for buying a home. And also on my blog site, I will have things to consider when selling your home, the winter 2025 edition. And you might say, where can I go to get these wonderful guides to help me out? But I would still call Mr. G to help me find or list a home. And you go to realestatewithmrg.blog/resource-materials. Okay? And you could download them for free. Isn't that nice? All right, then. So I'm hearing from my producer, Isabella, that you have, last week they showed footage of me when I was younger, when I was on the dating game, but you have actually footage of me when I was on the Art Linkletter show. Is that correct?
Mr. G, great news. We found video footage of you when you appeared on the Art Linkletter show called Art Linkletter and the Kids. We would like to share it with your audience. Please enjoy.
Art Linkletter and the Kids. Join us for 15 minutes of unrehearsed, unpredictable fun with children. Starring kids from 2 to 10. With the Pied Piper of TV and radio, the people are funny than Art Linkletter.
All right, that's a little embarrassing, but yeah, I remember that when I was on the Art Linkletter show, and it was a great show. He was a wonderful man, and thank you very much for showing that. All right. Well, we're under 30 minutes, which is good. I really don't want the podcast to go more than the 20 minutes, than a half hour. So this is really good. I want to thank you for watching. We had a snowstorm this week, and right now it's a beautiful day out. The snow's kind of melting. It's gone. Um, I'm originally from New York City. When we had a snowstorm, it would linger for weeks, and it would get dirty, the snow, and you would have to shovel out of a parking space and shovel back in. Here in Virginia, if it snows, the next couple of days, the temperature goes up. It goes to the 40s and 50s, and then it's gone. So you have the enjoyment of having 1 or 2 snow days and playing out in the snow and making snowmen and having snowball fights. But then nature comes in and it's away. Okay. So I'm looking for warmer weather and the spring and summer and nice stuff like that. So I'll see you next week. And remember, the greatest power we have is to love, and the greatest gift is each other. And I'll see you next week.